It's March 2nd, and I live here in East Tennessee in Zone 7B, and I am starting my sugar snap peas today indoors so they can get a little head start before planting them outside. When I plant them outside in the soil, it takes them longer to come up, obviously, because the soil's cooler, and they don't seem to grow nearly as fast as when I start them indoors. So the first thing I did was I got some seed starting mix, and it's very dry, so I'm adding water. I find it much easier to add water before you start filling the containers than trying to hydrate it after it's already in there. So it's much easier to get a nice soil moistness, and you want it, this is a little damp, you want it moist enough. This is too damp. See how the water runs out? You want it like it is now, where it will actually clump, but you're not squeezing out much water. So I gotta let this soak this water up, kind of mix it around, break up the dry clumps. The other thing I did was I added about 1/4 teaspoon of this soil moist. And what that does is it absorbs, it's a polymer, it absorbs water when there's plenty of water. And then during dry periods, it shrinks back. And the roots of the plant, and peas like water, the roots of the plant can actually pull the water out of the crystals during dry periods. So it makes it a little bit easier to maintain the growth of your plants without having to worry about having a timer or going out there every day to check them. Although you do have to check peas daily once they start to produce their pods. While the soil is absorbing the moisture, I'm going to add a little bit of water to my seeds. So here are my seeds, and I needed 14 of them. You'll see why here in just a minute. This is what I'm planting, and those are going to soak in water for just a little bit till they're ready to go into their new home. So I saved toilet paper rolls and tower paper rolls, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill these with soil, and then I'm going to plant my seeds pretty high up so they have plenty of room to grow their roots down through the length of this tube. And when they're a good size and have a good root on them, I can just plant the tube right outside. I won't have to take them out of the tube, so there won't be any root disruption that way. The tubes will just disintegrate pretty quickly and compost into the soil, and the roots will be able to go down and go out all the different directions they need to go. The reason I'm using these, not only because they're compostable and free, but also if you think about how deep it is, they can get a nice deep root compared to being put into some type of little potting tray.